What's up, you guys? Alpha92 here. Glad to finally be back on YouTube after about maybe 2 or 3 months. It's been a while since I dropped a video, but hey, I'm back. Apologize. Today I'm doing a video on the taper fade on some Corsair, and it comes out really nice. This little young dude I always cut every Saturday, and it comes out real nice. And I've been meaning to record it, and I was thinking, man, it's been a while since I dropped the video, so I did this taper fade video for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe. Alright, you guys, so the first thing you want to do is you want to comb the hair out first. Make sure you comb all the little knots and stuff out of the hair, because you want to make sure the clipper goes through it real smooth. And the first card I'm using is the number 1. I think I had it closed. You want to go with the grain, but you want to be careful, because like, I don't know if you see right there in the cowlick, the little cowlick area, sometimes the hairs, they're not necessarily going down or up, so you got to kind of see which way they're going, so you can go with the grain. I'm sorry, but yeah, you go with the grain, and the reason you're going with the grain is to make sure you can keep the wave pattern that he has on there. And sometimes you might not even see it until you start actually cutting the hair down. And I probably should have had this on manual focus. Focus is kind of going in and out, but yeah, you go with the grain, and you see I'm kind of going down with it, and cut and comb. I always do that. And so you kind of get the little cowlick a little bit, and behind the ears and all that, you got to be careful around that cowlick. You see, I'm not really going a specific way, just whichever way it's going, that's the way I'm going. And yeah, but you set your baseline. I like to keep it low on taper fades like this, especially if you're going to keep the points, the little C notes in the bottom. You want to make sure you got enough hair right there. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I lined it up a little bit just to make sure I stay inside the lines. And this is a number 1 guard open, and I'm cutting into it, and as you can see, the number 1 guard open fades right into the number 1 closed, so it's pretty much already blended right there. So then I just close it and just touch it up a little bit. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the open blade and open it up. Well, the cutting blade, and open it up, and create that second little line right there. You can't see it too much, but it's there. Then I take it out with the 1/16 closed, and just kind of work it all in there. You'll see it just fall into place. If you watch my video on erasing the ball line, you'll know what I'm doing right here. And but yeah, and then the last line, if there's any line, you just kind of take it out with the edges, which, I mean, there was no line right here, but you guys see how easy and fast it just blended in. And if you use the right technique, you're always gonna get smooth blends, and they're gonna get done quick. And but yeah, just the edges touch up, and then put the shavers on there, kind of just to bald it out, give it a little more contrast. And now we move to the back. And usually towards the edges, some people like to curve their baseline down. I curve mine up only because it cleans up the sides a little more. Once you end up fading it, you'll see the sides get cleaned up a little more. Man, I wish I can draw in these videos to kind of explain to you guys what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure I can draw in it. That should be something I should look into. But yeah, I set my second baseline with the number 1 closed, and hit them little corners. The hairs kind of grow a different way, so you kind of gotta hit them a certain way. But yeah, number 1 closed, and then you open it up and fade it in. And like I said, the number 1 open fades right into the number 1 closed. If you're going with the grain, you just open it up and it fades right into it. You gotta be real detailed with these cuts, man. Not just taper fades, but really any cut. You just gotta be detailed and watch how the grain grows and which way the grain goes, and just cut with it. If it's going to the left, cut with it. Go to the right. If it's going to the right, go to the left. You want to make sure you're cutting against the grain at all times. If you just cut up, just up and down, there could be a little piece in the head that's actually going to the side, and you're not really cutting it because you're not going, left and right like you should. Alright, I'm trying to erase my ball line, so I open it up, and put that second base, that second guideline in there with the open blade, and it almost pretty much just fades right into the closed blade. But just to be safe, I put the 1/16 on there and fade it in, you know, because there was still a little line. But yeah, you work that 1/16, use your corners to fade it all in, and just make sure you're going against the grain, and you got to watch the air to watch which way it grows, to make sure you're always going against the grain. See, those little corners is not necessarily just up and down, it's kind of a little bit side to side, and if you're not careful, you'll end up not cutting against the grain and not fading it in right. But yeah, you erase that second guideline in there, and you gotta work it in, man. It's stubborn sometimes. Sometimes you cut and comb. That's why you always cut and comb, cut and comb, cut and comb. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I switched back to my Masters, my Andes Masters, and it's nothing against the JRL Fresh Fade 1040s that I was using. They're great clippers. I still use them every now and then, just because they knock off a lot of bulk really fast and really smooth. So I kind of use those to debulk a little bit. Every now and then I'll fade with them if I need to with little kids or something, because they're smaller and lighter. They don't feel as rough. But yeah, man, I switched back to the Masters just because they fade so good, man. You just can't go wrong. And it's nothing against the JRLs. Like I said, the JRLs fade real good too. And the Babyliss, the Gold Effects, you know, they great clippers, man. And I'll probably go back to them eventually. But it's just the Masters, you just can't go wrong, man. And I also got the cordless detailers. I never really, you know, I had the slim line, so I was like, I don't need the detailers. But if you get the GTX plate, the deep tools on them, and you set it just right, those things hit, man. They're like really good clippers. And the only reason I got them is because I had the Masters, so I was like, man, I might as well get the cordless TI liners to have the classic lineup that I started with. You know, when I was at home, I had a pair of Masters and a pair of TI liners, and that's all I needed. I didn't have no balding clippers, debulking clippers, none of that. It was just Masters and TI liners, you know, and we made it work. And here on the second part, I use a number 1, and I don't know if you guys caught that, but I put a number 2 on there and kind of went against the grain with the number 2. The number 2 against the grain, it's almost the same length as the number 1 with the grain, but it kind of takes off the wave pattern a little bit. So you really want to avoid, like, I wouldn't have put a number 2 and just went against the grain. I'd rather do a number 1 open and go with the grain to keep the waves a little bit. But I did a little bit right there, just a deep bulk, just so the number 1 to fade into it. And I pretty much did the same process as the other side. You always want to make sure you do the same thing on both sides. That way the haircut will come out the same. And that's why I'm 4 guidelines. Some people aren't. Some people are like, no, why you put a line in there just to take it out? Why would you put a line just to, well, if you use guidelines, you know, you can look at your haircut and make sure it's even on both sides before you fade it in. I don't do that half the time just because I already know, you know, I've been doing it for a while. I know how to get my lines even. I'll glance at it 2 or 3 times, and like sometimes you'll see it, you know, one side you went up too high or one side you went too low, and you can see all that before you fade it in, so you can set your, you know, adjust your guidelines. Once they're nice and even, then you can start fading it in. Everything will come out nice and even. And yeah, his edge up is kind of light right there in the corners, but like I said, you put the GTX plate on these TI liners, man, and they hit. Like, I love it, man. I haven't used my slim lines in about 2 weeks. They're just sitting there on the dock. I think I unplugged them, actually. I had something else to plug in. Oh yeah, my JRLs. I have those plugged in still. So I unplugged my slim lines. They're just sitting there. They probably still got some juice, but if I use them, they'll probably die. But yeah, there goes his edge up, man. Try to get it as even as possible. And he has that hair that if you edge it up just right, man, it looks really good. But yeah, put some of the 245 shave gel. I'm not trying to advertise for these guys, but hey, man, it's good. That's a good product. I just I'm getting a little tired of the smell. There's nothing wrong with it, smells good, but I want a different smell every now and then. That one kind of smells like the black ice, the car freshener. But yeah, put the razor work and that's it, you guys. It's the final product right here. I could have used, it kind of looks like I used some enhancements. I didn't use any enhancements, but I could have, and it would have made it look even better. But that's how you're supposed to use it, man. If you ever use enhancements, make sure the haircut looks good without it before you put them on, because that's what they're supposed to do, just enhance. But yeah, this is the fade, man. Like and subscribe. Comment what you guys think. Appreciate you guys watching.